And my name is Kubeir and welcome to the channel. This channel is all about Canadian immigration, news, updates, processes, things you should do and things you definitely should not do. Canada will open up their borders by mid-August to Americans, and then after that, probably early September to all travelers. The keyword over there is could, which obviously means that this is still a speculation. There is still a lot of talks going on. We have to wait till we hear from the horse's mouth, and you know who the horse is. There is another thing which is fully vaccinated. What does fully vaccinated means? That you will have to have taken 2 valid doses of eligible vaccines as per the approved Canadian health authorities list of vaccines. As of right now, there are 4 vaccines which have been listed as approved. There are Johnson & Johnson, there's a Janssen vaccine, there is Oxford AstraZeneca, there is obviously the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines which have been approved. Covishield has also been included because I think that's part of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. As long as you have taken 2 doses of any of these vaccines, then you will be considered as fully vaccinated. Canadian immigration authorities and the Canadian health authorities are always reviewing other vaccines as well. At this point of time, there has been no additional update to the vaccine list. Today is already the 17th of July. The next big update, that is for the travel restrictions that are currently in place in Canada, that will be effective the 21st of July, because the current ban on the direct flights ends on the 21st of July. The current border restriction bans or whatever you can do, cannot do, that also ends on 21st July, whether it's with the US or everybody else. So usually these bans or these restrictions are renewed a week to few days in advance. Today is already Saturday. I don't expect anything. I do expect the next news or update or some information to come through by 19th, which would be Monday, or worst case by Tuesday. That is when we will know more. I particularly think that the ban between direct flights between India and Canada would be lifted for sure, because there's a lot of indication based on the flight bookings being accepted by Air Canada, by Air India, based on the mixed news that trickled in from different airlines, etc. You would assume or you would understand that this is definitely going to happen. Obviously, as I also mentioned, there is a September intake, which is of big relevance as far as Canada is concerned, because there are hundreds and thousands of students who are still not back in Canada. And we do expect from September onwards that the in-person classes will resume. Obviously, you will need to be vaccinated or fully vaccinated at that point of time. So just, again, make sure you are fully vaccinated when you do come to Canada. If you are exempt from travel restrictions, means you can already travel to Canada. You don't have to be vaccinated. It just basically means you will have to undergo the quarantine requirements as they are in place at this point of time. If you are vaccinated, you will be exempt from quarantine requirements as well, but you can travel. It's not that you cannot travel. So that is one confusion that a lot of people have. Please tell when pending applications of Express Entry March 2020 will be processed. Lots of people are waiting for results more than 15 months. GCMS stages shows all stages passed. Okay, now that obviously is a question for a lot of you as to when will they start finalizing the applications. I have read a few ATIP notes. I have read a few exchanges between different visa offices and the immigration authorities that was at some point of time made public. Not the most recent ones, obviously, because that will take time to come through, but earlier ones. And there was always a lot of talk about the kind of steps the visa offices had taken in order to handle the applications considering the COVID protocols. There was obviously a lot of things being held back in terms of they were not able to complete a lot of processes because of confidentiality and privacy matters. Yes, work from home is now something which is very common across the world. However, work from home also basically means that you will be, exchanging data over some very open networks, which leads to questions on terms of privacy. How much money would be spent on securing the servers, securing the lines or communication lines between people who are working from home versus IRCC servers is something which I don't know at this point of time. I do understand that because of working from home, a lot of people were not able to complete a lot of applications. And then obviously with all the travel restrictions, there was no motive, there was no incentive for IRCC to complete the application finalizing at that point of time as well. So considering both these factors, now that there is no more travel restrictions on people who have a valid COPR, plus Canada is now beginning to open their borders, you would only expect that applications would definitely start getting finalized. If you're going to ask me the exact date, I don't know. I mean, I wish I knew. Trust me, if I knew it, then all of you would know it because, I mean, hello, I'm not the one to keep it within myself, right? My expectation is as to how the backlogs will start clearing out. You should start seeing the major backlogs releasing out probably towards the fourth quarter. And I'm saying fourth quarter, which basically means September, October is when I would see the large number of application finalizations happening. Yes, the trickle would start at some point of time, probably within a month or so. The trickle would start, but the chunk of the applications will start getting released probably towards that time. That also will sit in line with the fact that they do need to meet this year's quota of immigration. The immigration targets have not been met. They're nowhere close to meeting those, regardless of how many ITAs they've issued, regardless of how many TR to PR applications that will be processed. It is still a lot of numbers that have to be met. And I expect that all these people whose whose visas will be issued, they will all probably be joining in anytime within this year or early next year, because most of the applications have already been approved. It is just a matter of them being finalized, them being released. And that is what will basically get it out to you. When will the federal skilled worker draw start? If you have been watching my videos, then you know from February this year, I've been saying the same thing. I expect the draws to resume by the third quarter. We are now already in the third quarter. I have been talking and I've been saying that July, August is when I expect the federal skilled workers draws to resume. We are still in the month of July. We still have one more draw to go for this month. Fingers are crossed, you never know. It might be the next draw. 21st July seems to be a big date for all of us. 21st July seems to sort of, it's like one of those things, right? It's sort of, you remove that hurdle and everything starts flowing smoothly. So 21st July as of right now feels like that particular thing, that date, that the minute that date is passed or that date happens, you will see a lot of things being released. I'm always forever hopeful. I'm always hoping for these positive things to happen. So I'm expecting that this probably will be the date. But if not, then August is something which I'm really, really hopeful for and keeping my fingers crossed. So that is as far as the federal skilled worker draws are concerned. That is as far as the PPR is concerned. On the same lines, people who have been waiting for COPRs, expired COPRs, they have been issuing, but it's just extremely slow. Another thing which people don't realize is that when Canada did put in so much of importance on the people who were inside Canada. So they sort of said, okay, all those who are inside Canada, we will process them first. CEC applications were being processed first. Then the TR to PR happened. Then the public policy to issue additional or other new work permits happened. Then now the new work permit for TR to PR is happening. These are a lot of applications. They had to divert away visa officers who were handling other applications to these. It only makes sense, right? They did not overnight recruit hundreds of other visa officers. They did actually last year, and that was primarily to boost the processing of the family class applications, spousal applications. So that numbers were boosted, but for other application types, they were primarily diverted. So at one point of time, student applications are also on hold. TRVs have been on hold for I don't know now, 14, 16 months. And they continue to be on hold, though they are now again trickling out. And then before, you see, people needed authorization to travel. Now, that also needed visa officers to sort of. So from most of these programs which were being held back, PR applications, in a lot of cases, for example, for federal skilled worker programs, TRV applications. So visa officers or visa officers who were more involved in handling these applications were diverted to then taking care of CECs and your TR to PRs, then the work permits, then the authorization to travel. And based on this, there has been a considerable backlog. Therefore, now that they have now sort of spreading out everything again, it will take time. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. I know there are a lot of people on Twitter who have been saying so many things, but you can see movement. I know it is not to your liking. I know you would want to see much faster, much bigger steps being taken. But hey, it's Canada. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. That is another thing you need to learn, that it will take time. You will have to sort of wait for things to happen. It won't happen quickly. And as much as it is frustrating, there is no clear or direct answer that I can give you. COPRs are being renewed. Extensions are being given out. Obviously, first the backlog is for the pre-18th May, and then it will start for the post-18th May. I know my answer is not what you are looking for, but that is how it is. That now that the backlogs, or rather now that the other application types are opening up, the staff will again be spread out to different application types that they were considered to sort of look at. But these are all additional steps that they've had to take, for which they have to now have the same visa officers who are doing something else now do something, something additional, or some tasks which were not expected to be done before. And hence, it is going to take time. Right. If you are not following us on Instagram, then you definitely must. There's a lot of good things that keep going with us. Most of our updates, when we post them, it usually goes on Instagram first. If you wish to make an appointment with me to discuss your application one-on-one, then that is the link. If you have any queries about our commercial services that we do offer, please drop us an email here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Well, that's just about it as far as all these updates are concerned. Thank you for joining in.